Okay, call to order. Guys, you didn't read the minutes. Did I? Yes, I did. Okay. Did you read the minutes? Were you happy with the minutes? Would you
I
make
saw
a motion?
approve the minutes.
All right. Can I second them?
Sure.
All right, I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. Now I can sign the minutes. Okay. We don't have any public hearings. Karen's keeping the Voss building on here to continue the conversation. We know there's a lot of conversation.
Well, I keep trying to take it off and then you guys keep taking it back,
You
so
know,
I just gave up.
I know. You know, I think Steve is still having small flame conversations with some of the DDA members, even though I know we've got to push with the new DDA members. Everybody considers that a blighted building. So I don't know if there's hope. Steve is of the opinion that there is some interest. And I would think if we're going to go forward, we've got to come up with some sort of plan. The city would have to buy in to be the purchaser of said building and owner. And then we would have to research, of course, all of the grants that are available for said rehab. This is going to be a tall order. I don't know if there's hope. I don't know if there's enough proponents, but I know Steve is out there, and I know Steve is tied up with Kim's recovery from was it knee or hip replacement that she had? But he's been tied close to home as a result of that. So having said that, I will try to have a conversation with Steve between now and the next meeting and see kind of where he's at.
Well, and I think it was the last meeting, he reported that the current owner wants to make it a restaurant.
He did report that. So,
and was in the paper also.
right, so if that really, if we have an active owner who's interested in that, it means they're gonna have to put some money into the building in the first place. So if it becomes a restaurant, the pressure's off to save the building because somebody will be doing something with the building. So we can just put it on our back burner in terms of, as well. So thank you for that reminder, Karen.
Yeah.
I had not remembered that.
So essentially nothing new this month on that topic.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, on the poster, that's why we needed David here. We were just about ready, real close to finalizing it. So we're gonna have to push that out. Let's see. Make sure I haven't heard from Linda. Nada. Okay. The Templeton Gap Cemetery restoration. There's been some movement, but it's in Steve and Linda's court. They made contact with everything that you had greased the skids with, Eric. My understanding from the update I got from Linda, she and Steve went in and talked to, is it Silas?
Yes.
The manager at the golf course. He's all in supporting and even got a way for Steve to get his truck up to actually get to the site. And they are there and said they want to help and support in any way that they can. Again, I think we're tied up with Steve's availability because of Kim. So it's on his back burner. And I do know that Linda was going to run by and Karen and staff got the epoxy or glue or whichever one it was. Thank you. Setting compound. I was getting corrected because I know there's two of them.
Well, yeah, no, what is this thing called?
But the setting compound, so we got it. And so he has the materials that he needs to go ahead. So the golf course folks have been very accommodating.
He was very with me, that manager.
Silas. Yeah.
Cyrus, and also I talked to Linda, I don't know if you know or not, but Tuesdays are the days that they can do what they're gonna do, or this committee can, or Stephen, and I want
So
to be
they've
involved.
settled in on a
They
Tuesday.
did because of the non-event thing that happens
Sure.
at the golf course, so Linda was excited. I thought they said they went once already, no, they wouldn't
I
have because
think-
of Steve's wife.
Right.
And they're I don't know if the 9th is a Tuesday, they were planning on going the 9th, so I talked to
The
them.
9th
It's
is-
next-
it
it's
is a
next
Tuesday.
I wanted to make sure that they got a hold of them, because there was a couple emails that went across that nobody was responding. I was gonna drive over there.
Well,
The
they
guy
actually,
was
I
cool.
think they made connection,
They did.
and my advice to Linda is make sure you have a copy of that email with permission in your back pocket, just in case there's somebody else on duty or working that day. So,
I had a really good experience there, meeting him and the people that introduced me to him, and I think he's very interested.
well, and
And what
Linda
we're doing.
said you did a fantastic job setting things up with the people, so you
Hey.
did, in other words, you didn't you? That's good.
Well, it came together, so I didn't really do much, it was the people I was with.
You know, guys, just, baby steps, we just kind of do that.
Keep
And
moving.
then that marries right up to, I can talk about it under this item, that marries up to, I just wanted to make sure it wasn't on the agenda. Steve's discussion with the professor, where they're interested, he's gonna try to get the grad students, and I had reached out to Steve and I said, would it help if we write a formal letter from our group to the professor on behalf of that? And if I missed the email, I could have, but Steve hasn't responded to me. I just thought maybe it would be a little bit more formal for us to document it through a letter from us.
It's just not from Steve.
Well, that we
No,
look
it's a
forward to the
committee.
fact that this professor and his group of students are on board with this. I was just wondering if that would help us.
Go for it.
sort of thing. So I'll follow up with Steve. So I'll follow up with Steve with two things, in terms of, what was the first one, you guys?
The boss
Wasn't
house.
boss, was it boss, just knowing
Ross-
if he
the
knew
Ross
anything
Building
and make sure he
in
knows,
Templeton.
yeah. So I'll follow up with those two with him. Anything else on that, on Templeton right now? I think. And then the historic designation possibility at 107 West Henrietta, which is the old community church. What I know is the community church, right? Okay.
Right.
And that is, those people who bought it are interested, and David is working with them from an architectural perspective, and that's how that information came back to us. Karen, from your perspective in planning, have you been contacted by these people with anything yet?
Not by those people.
Okay.
This is where I'm having a little heart attack. Did I like drop the ball on something? Might have. No, that happened. Oh, I did start a semi-drop a ball. Dave Langley did ask to sit down and I guess talk a little bit more about that.
About what? The 107 West Henrietta,
Yeah.
the community church, okay.
And I failed I volleyed back and he volleyed back and anyhow, I failed to nail down a time to sit down
Okay.
and chat.
Okay,
So I'm doing horrible customer service to him on that project right now.
okay, so it's still on the table, and the fact that the people have an interest is great, for us, with what we want to do. Okay, item E, Cristola Bridge, I believe Steve is kind of our conduit with the county historical group that's trying to get reconnected, so that was we wanted to reach out and invite them, they weren't ready. I talked to, is it Ted Borden? No, let's see, right. Yeah, what's the guy's name? Martinick? What's his
Dave
first?
Martinick.
Dave Martinick. He's the key on the county preservation group that's rekindled themselves. So we're still, they're interested, but they kind of wanted to be the driver and reach out to us when they felt they were a little more ready. And one of the first things on that agenda, Steve's making sure it's Crystal Bridge. So that's going to carry over as well.
Yeah, that's one of those where again, it's not It's not our purview.
Right.
So, but you guys keep wanting it on the agenda, so it stays.
Uh-huh. Well, it has more to do, I think, with meeting with that group, and seeing what we can do to help. Um, You're right, it's not our baby, but we were the catalyst to help the Historical Society be the impetus to get it designated too. I did. So, okay, since Dave is here, let's go back up. Poster. If you're ready, if not, I'll keep going.
Well, we can knock off F real quick. I got
Okay.
nothing. I failed again. I'm sorry.
So we don't have an update from Kimberly?
Well, no, it's partly on me, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you missed the part where I just confessed that I didn't get back to you to set a time to talk about 107 Henrietta.
Oh, okay.
So it's been a week already.
Oh, I understand.
But yeah,
Thanks for responding to begin with. And I'm out of here now for a while anyways.
sorry, okay.
For a week, so.
Okay. Okay, Dave,
Cool.
tell us where you're at.
Went through, got a general feel of the format, added it down to some concise text, which doesn't mean anything unless you want to stop and read it, but you have a choice. You can stop and read what's there or not. Welcome any editing, because there's just a basic outline of information set in there. And we pulled from what we got, but that was that. For some reason, it seems kind of attractive. The cameos are cool, and whether that draws somebody to actually read the text, I don't know for sure, but at least there's a opportunity there. So ideas and editing is still welcome.
So you got those boxes bigger, you got that text in it, it looks
Mhm.
great from that perspective. But, so we do need to read over it
Yes, please.
and any editing.
Alma helped form, oh, sorry, never mind. I misread it.
You know,
Well, would you, actually, all of you feel free to do what Karen's doing. If you see something, put a big marker on it.
Yeah.
Go get you new copies. That way you can pass on specifically. You may not come back and figure out what the heck we were talking about.
did this verbiage, a lot of this come from Steve?
Oh, yeah. And that would be something, actually I didn't do it. I questioned whether we should give him a consulting credit on that, because the majority of stuff came from that. Doesn't, oh, we did. Steve Blue, historical consultant. She did give it on there, which I think is appropriate and nice.
I'm just gonna mention Irene Denning. She's a Spielman. And it was, the Spielman tract is where they grew the potatoes and sent them to the mine. And so a lot of people don't know Irene, Irene Denning married Clyde Denning. And she's a Spielman, and that's the connection. Spielman back to, and so, SP Spielman.
SPIE, I think it is. LMEN. You've seen it on the.
Oh, man, it's all over, but I don't want to say how to
SPIE.
spell it.
Oh, Larry's gonna
Oh,
tell us
you
how to
will.
spell
Larry
Spielman.
knows.
I think I would
Got the
just
manual.
make reference to the fact it's Irene Spielman Denny, because Irene and Clyde didn't have any children. And I knew them very well because my parents bought my parents' property from Clyde and Irene back before
You're
1972.
spelling, you need to spell
Yeah, how do you spell it?
it, Spielman. This potato cellar was built around 1903 on the Spielman Denny Ranch.
I think that just gives more context to Irene.
Spielman's,
Yeah.
this is Spielman tribe.
Right. So Burnhammer. You guys all know Dick Carpenter?
Yep.
He's married to Connie
Honey,
Hammer. This is her mom, this is her mom. This is Connie's mom. And Fern just passed away.
Right.
Triple B Ranch. Alveda Burns, that's connects into the old Triple B Ranch. I just happen to know those people. I had known those people as a little kid, so the rest of them are probably gone when I was a little kid. Well, Linda's in Philadelphia.
Did you check? Wasn't it just?
yeah, Miriam that works for me did a good job of cramming that much information in there.
You know, she. So Linda says she's in Philadelphia. She'd mentioned that last meeting. I said, sorry, I forgot. And then she says, I'm staying in a house built in 1846. Does that count?
Good. That's cool.
Daddy needs because she goes.
Oh, they would be in the 17. What's our goal to try to punch this out? What did we?
It's up to you from here. We get the editing done, it can be done in a day or two.
I just wondered, did we talk, it seems to me we kind of kicked it around about when we were shooting to maybe end of summer?
I don't think we've ever talked deadline on this one.
We talked about a time, but not a deadline.
Not
I
a
dropped it
deadline.
blind, which was based on getting done and meeting times to follow up. So my objective would be to get this editing taken care of, give it to you next meeting and
Okay.
say, and put it up to your, vote of acceptance.
I think that's a good idea.
I take it Manatee Park Grange was here in Woodland Park.
Do you know where what's called the VFW Hall now,
Yeah.
out north of town? That's the Grange Hall.
Okay.
And the VFW actually purchased it 10-ish years ago. Time flies, maybe it's been 15, I can't remember. But that was the
It's
Manatee
a pretty
Park.
seamless transition. You don't really notice a date.
In fact, Don Phillips, who was the grandson of Irene Denny, sold it to, because it was on a piece of ground that the Denny's donated to the Grange. And so somehow he ended back up with ownership, and so that he sold it to VFW.
Dave, what I had here was, that's the only one with a date. So, and you can take this one with you. You can ignore that little mark. This one talks about, what was it?
So we should maybe pull that line,
Oh, yeah, because I don't know that it's necessary and it's so small.
and it's so small.
Yeah, so that was my thought.
Yeah, if you have anything that's questionable, then yeah, the thing to do is leave it out.
Yeah, and
I
that,
got that.
well, and it helps tell a story, but given how tiny it is. So yeah, that's what I had on there. And then my other crazy thought, which the lovely lady who's doing all these graphics would want to like clobber me for, is because I know they're beautifully arranged at the moment, but do we want to potentially rearrange these a little bit? So like the box depth, for like the ones that have more text, they are like all on the bottom. and
Can
have a-
vary the boxes and put
Yeah.
the big boxes to the bottom.
or whatever, so that they're, so the guys, so the ones with similar text are all like in the same row. Cause cause the cameos are beautiful and that they're, but just a way to maybe get the text size a little bigger or a little more uniform, cause some of it is pretty tiny. And it's just a thought,
Sort of tiny.
it may not work.
Yeah, some have 6 lines of text and some have 4, some have 3.
Yeah, it may not work, but,
So you want dates or no dates?
well, there's only one with a date.
Because Ivan Kelly has a date, just crossed over. Directly
Oh,
over.
yep, I'm sorry, there are 2 with dates. Okay.
Best in
Do we want the dates or not? Is it relevant to have the dates?
Yeah, we just didn't have enough to run through consistently, didn't have enough information.
Yeah.
Well, and
The
part
others,
of
they
it too
have
is,
dates.
there is not an exact date on,
Right.
the rest of them to say, well, when was Francis doing this? Well, there's a range, so. wait a
Yeah.
second.
I would leave them out, I guess.
That the others don't have dates, not have any dates.
So you have that. Like I said, I don't know if that would work in terms of playing with box size or not.
Let's see, I'm
And maybe Steve could come up with a little bit more verbiage for Irene. So she's the only one that has the least amount in the box. So if you're gonna,
Yeah, we had the Spielman on that.
Thelma.
Thelma
Yeah,
Star doesn't have very much either, but the bigger point is that it's legible.
Yeah, well, absolutely, absolutely, Karen.
So,
You're talking about Irving Denny,
I'll
Which
give you
was-
the page.
Spielman Denny.
Yeah. Spielman did.
Should we actually hyphen that in there, or the Spielman, or?
Do you think it should, Larry, what do you think? Should it be hyphenated? How is it written up?
It's hyphenated.
So it's Irving Denny hyphen Spielman?
No, Spielman hyphen Denny.
Okay. Oh, Spielman Denny Ranch, okay.
That'll add just enough to it.
She was the sweetest gal.
There's a bunch of them that are sweethearts.
Mhm.
My understanding that Marcus, that I have more familiarity with because of their family.
Yep.
Was not. She was a little
Naomi,
bit of a razor,
Naomi had a very
Ed-
sharp edge.
from her Russian descent, is what the family has told me.
But she was a good person. She was. Well, I think it looks great. I think you're getting it
Good,
honed in there.
good. It's not something I imagined me doing. It's not my usual flavor of things, but I'm digging it myself.
Did you get Spielman Denny under? Do you want my copy?
No,
Hey,
no.
You got it?
And cross-referencing,
Yeah.
Woodland Park, images of America, Woodland Park. So it said, I have that.
Oh, you got that already.
Yeah, good, thanks.
Edith Atwell was a trick too. She was a lady who knew it all.
Who's that?
Everyone has one of these books.
Edith Atwell.
You ever this book? The Historical Society still selling them.
They're great books.
Yeah.
1 year production. We were told we had a
Excellent.
year to put it together. I edited 95% of all these captions. It was a mean task to put together, but we had 1 year to get it done. And it was done.
nice.
Atwells were into the well business.
Who?
Atwells, I'm trying to remember, but I know where I knew the name from, something like that. Anyway.
No, I'm not sure what he did.
seems like-
She was involved in it. And she did that. I don't even remember him. She was such a dominating personality. I don't. But I was just this big too. I don't
That
know.
was irrelevant.
That wasn't relevant at that time. Okay, anything else on the poster? I think it's coming together, Dave. Thank you and Miriam. Very much. And Steve, of course. Got the year on there, 2024. And it really ties together the fact that these ladies worked on getting Memorial Park done
On the board.
first place, yeah.
Did you hear I struck up the middle sentence about the phone ringing?
Yes. We'll do something short. Does have appeal to it, it's just too much stuff.
Yeah, that's why if I had to pick sentences, I like the one about her, traveling to isolated places. We're talking about Burns, Alberta.
Mhm.
Yeah. It was the sentence about the phone ringing that I was suggesting that gets deleted.
You can hang around, see if something else crosses your mind.
Yeah.
Okay. We good?
Good.
Okay, we talked about F, then we're down to committee reports. I'll give you your notes and start with you.
I'm starting.
There, you're starting tonight.
Wow. I've been on this, are you ready? 4th of July, cemetery call, $5, 1 to 3. Parking's on Short Street.
Oh, really? Okay.
July 10th. New branches in the shadow of Pikes Peak. Green Mountain Falls. Sally Bush Center,
Oh, they're gonna show it at the Sally Bush?
free at 7.
Free. How come free?
That's what it says in the green box booklet. You all have a copy of the green box.
So why free?
I don't know. You have to ask the green box committee.
Okay,
They might have a grant or sponsor.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
maybe they got some dollars and maybe the Historical Society hopefully got some bucks for that, but cool. Cause there was just the one showing of, at the
That one, so
The
when
one showing at the.
Yes, Historical Society documentary, Sally
Okay.
Bush Center, free. 7. You has all that.
Yep.
Okay, next. July 27th, Rock Days, Green Mountain Falls. We're gonna have a legend tent down there for those who have families that would like to talk on tape about their family heritage in the area. That's Bronx Days.
Is that the first time you
All
guys have
done.
offered that?
Yes, yes. You have all that. And the big one, 1920 July 25, Mary Green Pines Tour.
Oh, back on tap, next
Back on
year,
track.
next year.
Next year.
It's been 3 years already,
Yes.
almost.
We want, yeah,
You wanna go? I wanna
I
go.
wanna go, you're gonna be the
I'll
guy
be the
on
bus guy.
Yep,
Okay.
we're getting people that wanna go to that just cause. we
July,
really
right?
told them.
July 1920, 2025.
Next summer.
Wow.
I know it's far out, but some people plan live, whatever.
My wife asked me and I forgot, cause
Oh,
I was gonna ask, I said, I'll ask Larry about that.
And it's every 3 years, right?
Yeah.
Larry? So,
That was the agreement,
Okay,
right?
right.
That's really cool.
so Eric, what do you have? Anything new to share with us?
No, I have nothing.
Thank you. David,
Me backtrack just 1 second. What was that you were talking about, recording stories about the family?
um, Bronx Day, there's gonna be a
Bronx Day.
Bronx Day in Green Mountain Falls. There's gonna be a tented area or whatever next to the land office building. And there will be people in there with recorders, tapes to record, and people who want to share a little bit of their family history that has not taken place.
It's a July 27th for that day.
Right,
Thank you.
July 27th.
For those of you that remember, before they widened Highway 24 up above Green Mountain Falls there, right next to the highway. You know, if we're going down, we're gonna drop into Green Mountain Falls, right, when you turn over into the lane there. They wiped out the rodeo grounds to widen the highway. And Bronc Days, they did Bronc Days with a rodeo right up top that I remember as a kid. It could have been somewhere else, but that whole area just got pushed and leveled and used for the widening of 24. But they still do, Bronc Days has gone on in Green Mountain Falls, I think, for a very long time. I think the events have changed a little. There's still a parade
Parade.
and things like that, and they center things around the lake and where the land office is, where they're gonna hold this opportunity to do this recording,
Right.
right? So it's it's been around a long time, and there's a lot of old families that still have homes down there who come back in the summertime, I think. So maybe some of those people will participate. You don't know, do you? No, we never know.
Are you gonna have like a oral history banner?
I don't know what they're gonna
Okay.
do. This is,
That's a good idea.
Share your oral history?
I assure, they're gonna do something,
Oh, cool.
okay? But that I don't.
Kind of like
And
NPR.
this is the Pass Historical
The
Society?
UPass Historical Society is sponsoring this next to the land office building.
Yeah.
Which we own and we have to maintain.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
Oh, but in that number, add one more. The land office is open on weekends, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday if you're in Green Mountain Falls. For buying of books or whatever. The rest of the summer.
Cool. Yes, sir.
So all I was gonna add to that was, unfortunately, the Henrietta people of the old church canceled again. They're young and enthusiastic, but I don't know how settled they are as far as showing up when they're supposed to, or the
Okay.
business, direction of things, I don't know, and I don't know what their family situation is, other than the mother is helping.
Are you working with them with building?
Well,
Their remodel or whatever?
yeah, but I can tell you what's happening is because it's not that much to it. They're really kind of opening up to what the possibility of the main level was, which was a church. One of the way it's leading to is to something in the nature of an event center. Now, this doesn't really correlate very well with the tab of approved or even conditional uses on the city zoning, but it would seem appropriate for its location and its former use. The lower level, she's a beauty salon person and just gonna make it an esthetician floor cut, rent out a couple of chairs, and really that's just about all there is to it on the lower level. It nevertheless is, it's a change of use, not a conditional use, because it was all used by the church and now would not be. So that's really all there is to it. They're looking to save anything, love anything about the history, you've been fans of reading everything we can find on it, so it's all supported.
Were they wanting to live in that building?
No,
Okay, so it's just these other uses?
Yeah.
Okay,
just for the commercial nature of uses on there, and try to fit within the normal use of there, but she needs to do her beauty salon thing.
and what do they mean by event center?
Could be groups getting together, could be overflow from the street market, take it in front of them. It could be a wedding event type of thing.
Okay,
A form of gathering sort of special rental. I believe in a similar fashion, the community centers that is, has been a successful run, pretty well booked, so they take advantage of that. They got the space for it, they're looking to have a community reach that works to make use of the building.
Cool.
And so, I think to go with that, there are code exceptions in there that make it a little easier as far as adapting into the change of use per the International Building Code, where, just like Wilby, the Brazen had, if they have a designation for this committee, would be documentation that would justify some things that, because as far as I'm concerned, I don't really want to see, it's been overhauled so much already.
Sure.
Not to my taste on it, that I don't recommend anymore. So things like that would be good. So that's the status of that. We'll try to follow up in the best interest of history and get it together. If we get another plaque to go someplace, I'm thinking that would be a good thing.
Well, it seems that they have the interest, it's just getting all the marbles in the bag here.
Yep. And they gotta show up to a meeting for that.
Yeah, we gotta start somewhere.
Uh-huh. The other thing is, I'm working on a site, and Eric's been out there with me, that is outside of city limits, on the other side of Edlow Road, that at one time was a dude ranch specializing in kind of a girl's time and a boy's time. Do you remember what they said the name of it was?
I don't.
I didn't.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you can see the remains, look straight in, you can see the remains of
It
what.
was a girls, it was even partially a girls finishing school of some sort, I think.
Could be
Yeah.
very active there.
Yeah.
Any rate, if they could get some help funding whatever positive thing, they'd love to say what was the dining hall, which is the most interesting part of it. I was sitting there imagining how I would bring that up to a level of safety that would maintain some historical character. That would be challenging. Steve has been fond of pointing out lately, you can do anything. I'm saying you can do anything with the right amount of money.
Money.
So first, if there's
Have
any.
Steve go get the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if there's something, if there's something that is supportive, helps him in a direction, and it's kind of a generalized question, do we want to keep proactive, as you brought up with the Howard County Historical Society, or lack thereof, that it would be supportive or constructive, or try to get some energy going outside of city limits? That would be a committee question.
Well, and that would be, it's kind of like the Cristola Bridge thing. It's technically out of our purview, just like this is technically out of our purview. But it has a huge historical relevance, and I'm sure there's something about it in the book that Larry's got as well, that I recall. And there's quite a history out there at Paint Pony Ranch in general, because it's right on the skirts of that, right? The old Paint Pony Ranch area.
Mm-mm.
No, where is
That's
it?
not,
So,
yeah, this is the cross, this is the old Herman property. Hagedorn had it, and then Herman. The 54 acres
So this isn't-
between Johnston and.
Oh, I'm thinking this is north. This is that way.
I like Paint Pony, I mean,
The dining hall is the old log
Yeah,
building
it's-
that you're talking
Yeah,
about.
there's, where Edlow Road
Oh, I
crosses,
know.
there's one
Yep,
other
yep, yep, yep.
property, and then this one that enters right off of 24.
Yes, I know exactly.
and that town site is Edlow.
Yeah.
Historic, yeah, you know, you and I
brought
was
that
thinking it
up.
was,
Which,
you did with me, but I didn't, I thought you said Woodland, and now I'm getting into the deeds and stuff. It was an old town site of Edlow.
Yes.
Which I'm very interested in.
So what's interesting is there's two easements out there. Hagedorn's easement and then Jerry Johnston's easement, and this is kind of sandwiched between. So the county, we could certainly, once we maybe cultivate a relationship with their historical group, offer some assistance or help push them in that direction. But that would be a nice project adjunct with Cristola, because it's all the Cristola Bridge. So that's all, it's just around here. It's us. Interesting.
there is a thought, that's what I found was, interesting. The owner's very enthusiastic and loving and everything, but they can't afford a whole bunch of money themselves. It's gonna be their stretch to build their own house. That there's a part of it that, it's all on a, conservation easement, except for one piece of the track where they're gonna build a house.
Okay,
But they'd love to be able to do something that prevented it from falling the rest of the way down, if nothing else.
it started to fall?
Oh, it's just like everything, it's in better shape than some. There's part of the roof that's just about ready to go. And part of my looking at it was, there's no way I could justify this structure, put numbers on it to a building department. You just couldn't do it. And the roofing's just, it hasn't been maintained since, what do you say, the late forties or something. Things went downhill there. And so the maintenance went off, so the wood starts to deteriorate. It had been re-roofed. The son of the owner came over and visited us while we were milling around there and started telling the stories.
Eric Herman, yeah,
That's
he is
Uh,
full of history, and I don't know, we got sidetracked.
Well, it's Rick and Till Herman's family
So, yeah, that was
started it.
Eric?
Their mom and dad.
Eric.
Eric is their son.
Yeah, he came across, he saw the vehicles over there, and he came over and took over the whole meeting pretty much, right? He just ran off with. Yeah, it was interesting.
but we were having fun.
Yes,
Here's
we
a
were.
suitcase of stuff you might want to
He
use.
was talking about the old videos, or the,
See,
Yeah,
majority of the Dude Ranch color
Came from them.
action is from the Herman's PR films that they would go around the nation to promote the kids to come here. So that when you see that, it's from, but that's all that they've been digitized, all that has been digitized. So there's plenty out there that the filmmaker did not use, but you have all interiors and all that. It's amazing what's on the whole thing. So ask Eric to see the digitized films that he has. It is in the Dude Ranch thing is just a sampling of what was filmed. Okay.
Anyway, if there's some enthusiasm to, add to that, we don't run, like you're saying, we don't run to say, okay, my foot's on the side of the city limits here, it's on this side of it here. I've been in places like that, and it's pretty goofy, I thought, but, so I'd like to,
We
add to
get
that
our
any
hands
inspiration.
slapped anyway.
Oh, yeah. So you might as well do whatever you want to do, because
There
you're
you
gonna get
go.
slapped anyway.
That's right.
Anyway, if there's something that adds to, that, with it or bringing anybody's attention to it, it's open there. My comment was that, it was not nearly as bad a shape as the Paradise Ranch was. I looked at that with a couple different ones to see if it could be salvaged. I'm saying, I'll go a long ways, but I don't see what we could do about this one. So unfortunately, it had to be bulldozed consequently. This is a little better than that, so maybe.
didn't his dad do the logs? Herman? It's
Yep.
interesting, they're really in good shape. The timbers,
The log walls are
roots
roots.
not, but they were-
You know, it was full of a bunch of old wagons and a whole bunch of stuff. And Rick took me back there while Rick was still mobile and getting around, and I'm wondering, I should talk to Freddie and Eric and see what happened to all that old stuff, what they did with it. Anyway,
Anyway, that's all I got.
but maybe, like I said, we get with the county, maybe we can at least be a cheerleader for them and be not just a cheerleader, but why it's important and give them some resources and things like that. I think we do have a role with that, and it's a partnership that we could cultivate. All I wanted to share with you guys that I am aware of, Donna Pinnacle has resigned
As of
As chair-
September 1.
as of September 1 from the Historical Society. She is going to move on. She's moving out to Oregon to be with her sister. So as of September 1, the leadership changes. Charlie Chambers will become the new president of the UPass Historical Society. And there are plans in place to kind of delegate different aspects that Don has been doing to different individuals. So it's a work in progress, and so there's going to be a change over there, coming up. So Donna's got some changes going on for herself. So that's all I have to share. Eddie,
I
you
do.
have anything?
I actually do.
Yay!
There's always, for me, there's, when historical societies always run into funding issues and stuff like that, because you need funding to revamp the historical place. Well, we went to the CML conference, a couple weeks ago now. And one of the things that they had, one of the sessions that piqued my interest was preserving heritage of your community. And the people that put it on were the State Historical Fund grants. You guys heard of them?
Yeah, they've given us a few presentations.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it might go with your part too. Not only do they help, like this organization here or committee, but they also help fund nonprofits and private.
Mhm.
So going with the place you guys were just talking about, whether it's private or what, they can still get funding from them.
Mhm.
And there's a crap load of money that they can get for you. So, and, just sitting through it, it's like, well, there's a lot of places that can use the funding. And from their presentation, it's not really hard to get.
That's the way they pitch it, that's true. But in reality, it takes quite the collaborative effort. So when I referred to, when we were kind of talking about loss, and you have to have a municipality or a base that's willing to buy it, then you have to have a nonprofit involved as well. And the commitment to redo it, and then actually, Karen has put some information on the city website under the historical preservation that actually references what you're talking about to give prospective private property owners as well as anybody else a lead in or a contact and a context to kind of understand what type of monies are available for stuff like that. And I think in our community, as we try to knit together, maybe continue to build on our UPass Historical Society relationship with this committee, plus now that the county's getting their group back together, maybe there's some opportunity with some synergy over a specific project, even with something like that. Hey, it's only, if somebody's got the time, I think just about anything's possible.
I was gonna say, given your role, in supporting this board, that was like a perfect session for you to go to kind of backfill some of that information. So it makes me really glad to hear that you took advantage of that.
Well, I did.
Yeah,
Well,
no,
yeah.
that's awesome.
And I think there's great opportunity there. It's, and in a perfect world, if we could, if our grant writer and Kimberly wasn't,
Be together, yeah.
and Karen, we're not so sucked down rabbit holes in other projects too, and their plates are full. That is one of the impetus for the city to help be the catalyst to help us bring some of this about, I think.
Yeah.
You would agree with that, Karen?
Yeah, no, it's, you'll hear this a lot, in the coming months, especially going into budget season, that this is, it's capacity problems, or capacity limitations that, you can only focus on so many things at a time. And
Yeah.
I've got a number of large projects going and it's, things suffer, because it's spinning plates. So we're all doing the best we can with what we've got, but it's just really hard to get the dedicated time. So I even barked out, time blocks on my calendar this past month. Did I get to use that time block for what I wanted to?
I'm trying.
I did, and I'm gonna try again, and one of these days I'll win, but.
But Smitty, thanks for plugging into that, because going to CML, there's a lot of avenues as you guys are indoctrinated into that council work. But the CML presented an opportunity, and it's been a while since we've had somebody that's sitting on council that's attended that session on preservation. So I think that's great. That should help maybe some conversation on the council meetings too, with helping to reinforce that there's possibilities out there. Because, I mean, we've been exposed to the opportunities for quite a few years through our community. But we're kind of powerless unless we really get some champions and some, it's a value. And if the value isn't there and it's not shared, and somebody doesn't pick up that football and run with it, just go, hell, just sit and look at it. And say, that's a great idea. Somebody really ought to pick that up and see how hard you get tackled before you get from there to the.
I have a question. So that's awesome that they talked about funding opportunities, but do they talk about the importance of like sense of place or why historic
Yeah,
preservation is important?
actually, if you go onto the CML.org and the conference and bring up the program, they actually have the
PowerPoint slides?
PowerPoint slides
Oh, cool.
and everything that they talked about.
Because I think it's a time of reprioritizing our community and getting those, or reestablishing those connections and partnerships. And like, since you're interested, like you're the council person, so it's super cool that there's maybe like it's time for our community to recognize our past and move forward, you know, and
Well, I love history.
yeah, so
I
that's,
do.
I'm glad that they touched on that, because that, I feel like our sense of place got a little lost in the last
Yeah,
5 years or so.
Yeah, so, yeah, it is kind of rooted around, it's kind of a moving target.
It is a moving target, it always is, because
Uh-huh.
everything's always changing, but it would be nice to like refocus.
But
and
that
redefine what-
that value and the ability to
Yes.
refocus and have that support.
Yes, it's,
And for you
Vital.
to share with other council members
Mhm.
to help be a messenger to help
Mhm.
promote what we're trying to do and be part of, it would be huge.
What, do you remember what day that session was?
Actually, yeah, it was on, because I have it right here. It was Thursday, June 20th. And it was the 10 o'clock.
They don't have times on here, but I will send you guys this link. It'll
Cool.
save you some digging.
Cool, thank you.
Thanks.
All right.
Yeah,
So-
the things that they did was in monies and the tax credits and everything.
Sounds pretty cool, doesn't it?
It did, it really did.
Yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
it's just accessing. I know in years past, I've filled out surveys for the state, like to keep Woodland Park in the pot for grants. So there's a lot of updating, but I don't know, they might have changed it. That was years ago.
Actually,
So-
we're still on the, I forget the list name. that they
Certified
had.
local governments
Yeah,
The CLG,
yeah,
yeah, okay,
certified,
okay.
that we have to do a
Yeah.
annual report.
Mhm.
and we're on there.
Okay, that keeps us,
Well, the
Yeah.
CLG came in conjunction with the Main Street designation, so
Uh-huh.
those things worked hand in hand. And the city avoided becoming a CLG until we could no longer really avoid having to step up to it, because we knew that planning was going to have to take on additional reporting duties. But there became a reason to do it finally,
Yeah.
and so it happened, I forget, it hasn't been a long time, but that does open doors theoretically for even additional dollars type of thing. So before I throw it, is that everything? Thank you very much.
Can I add one more thing? I forgot. I attended the grand opening of Adventures Outdoors. I met with Drew. I do not have his last name, but he's very supportive of the
Skoll,
history of the
yes.
building.
Yeah.
And I,
that's the,
and I am gonna meet with him on 4th of July at the booth in town for what he wants. He apologized that he did not have time to visit with me with the grand opening. But I did meet with him personally, one-on-one, and he emailed me back, we're really interested and so on. But you have to check his last name, but Drew, I spoke with him personally for a couple of minutes at the grand opening of the Adventures Outdoor.
Remind me the name of the
Which-
historic building.
Huh?
The
Brazen
Brazen
Head.
Head, thank you.
Brazen
I'm
Head.
like,
Let me see if I have his last name.
I think,
I don't know, it's Outdoors Adventures or Adventures Outdoor, but
I can't. Stroll, Stroll.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
thank you.
You're welcome. So, and the other thing is, before I turn it over to Karen to finish up the meeting here. So as you guys also saw, the cog got moved. Our sign got moved too. And, so I just want to make sure we don't forget to talk about it. So, you know, we went to a lot of planning for that sign to be a certain way for a certain reason. And it's now in the south sun, so it will not last very long.
I can help with that. I'm glad you brought it up as a reminder because I, early on in the planning process with them, did say it needs to face north. Worried
I
about the
know,
length of
we
the
talked about,
signs.
yeah.
And so followed, and they very carefully moved them. They were in one of the offices up here on this floor during the whole move and stuff. And so we did follow up with them. And because the site is so tight and they needed to make sure they had ADA access to the viewing platform, this is the way they could get it in there and still maintain that ADA access. And in talking to Ben, our city engineer, based on the dollar amount it would take to redesign to get that so the signs face the other way, that's a very, very big price tag. It says I can buy them new signs every couple of years. It would cost a lot less money. So, and then I threw out the other option that says if you guys want to take a look at that and if you've got a suggestion for where else they could possibly be placed so that they're oriented differently, please let me know. Let's do a diagram and we can at least take it to them for consideration. So I wouldn't consider it dead, but that's my thought at this point.
Have you been over there?
I've not been over there.
Yes, sir. Have you been over there?
Every day.
Wasn't our sign a solid piece?
There were two signs.
Sign.
I got a bunch of pictures of it from when I did the surveying over there, if that matters.
You know, I think somebody should go over there and take some pictures of the sign and what it says. So that we document what it says in case it does have to be replaced, because we know there were 3 groups that put money together to donate towards this sign. And it ended up costing, I want to say the whole thing came to, we could probably have to go back in minutes and look, but I'm thinking $600-700 for that sign. And then, what's his name? Jeff, thank you, did the base so that it could be removed, type of thing. So if probably all of us at some point should just take a look and gander and just see what it looks like and see if we have any ideas or, my understanding is that the building, excuse me, the cog car, the brainstorm of somebody's idea was to use it for a park and rec something or other. But I don't believe that can be done now because it's not ADA accessible. So it cannot be used for a classroom or whatever it was, the initial thought was. So that probably affected how Ben designed the platform or what they're doing or anything of that nature. And I know there's a piece of plywood over the door now, or a window, so I don't know if something got
There was a broken window.
smashed out or something.
It's
Yeah,
in
and that was-
process.
it's in process. Yeah, so
It's in process.
And that broken window was prior to the move.
good.
Yeah, no, it was not part of the move. It was
That's good.
prior.
Good. So it's, just to be honest, it's a sore spot for me because this committee wasn't even consulted. If you look at our bylaws, we were the group that should have made a recommendation to the city on perhaps where, not only did it go, but how it would be used. And we weren't consulted or asked anything about it. And that is in our purview, and that is already in our bylaws. And so I'm not gonna bring it up again, but it is not set well in my craw in any way, shape, or form. So I just want, it's just, you know what? We were asked to be a part of it. We were asked to support it. We got monies pulled together. We jumped through our tails to make this special sign. But when it came to the foo-bah that went on between the DDA and the city and the Carter family and the whole 9 yards, and who the ownership was, getting that paperwork back out. I think the Historical Society also got hoodwinked in taking ownership of that thing. It's not a pretty story. It's not a pretty story because not everybody was ever on board with that thing. So anyway, I hope we can get it up and operational and can have a use and people can walk through it and whatever the purpose is going to be. But I think there's nothing worse than having shoddy signs and shoddy identifiers for an object like that. And it is in the best interest of us, the city, and us, if the city is the keeper of that in terms of, I imagine, maintaining it, even though the Historical Society owns it. And I'm kind of confused because if the city was going to use a park and rec program inside of it, the point being is if the city's kind of responsible for that sign, I would think we sort of kind of would want to step up to the plate to monitor that sign and to fix it if it needs to be fixed, and if Ben says it's cheaper, if that's the reality. But we need to watch the sign, the degradation of the sign, we need to take some pictures of it so that we can reproduce it if that's what we want to do, or at least have a suggestion of what could be done, because once it starts to fade and starts to look like crap, it's a poor reflection, I think, on Woodland Park. So I would just like to see us take care of it. And it is, and I'm just going to share with you guys, it's also an issue that I'm up against with the Arts Alliance and the city accepting responsibility for maintenance on some things. 3 things: the mural over in the cultural center, antlers on Antler Alley, and the art benches. And I'm the only one that has the knowledge on these things and the responsibility, and everybody that's new. It's a challenge. If we're going to create this stuff, who's going to maintain it? What's the agreement going to look like? And so I'm already struggling with those 3. And now I think we need to keep our eyes on the sign, because if we collectively as individuals in a group don't do that, nobody will. So so on one hand, yeah, it's great to create all this stuff, but we've got to figure out how we're going to maintain it. It's going to take money to maintain it, and know-how, and procedures, and the right way to do stuff. And it's my skin, kind of boil and crawl. So I'm done. Karen, what's next?
I just had 2 other things. One relates back to the Brazen Head building, that the staff level we spoke with Drew, that he is looking to make a small change to the exterior. He knows he needs to come to this committee, working on an application. Right now, estimate is maybe the September 3rd meeting. So it's not fast, it's not in a big hurry. I imagine when you visit with him, probably chat with you a little bit more about it. It's not a technical hearing item. It's just which if it was a hearing, I would probably be, although I don't have a pending
So
application.
he just come and visit with us here.
Yeah, about what he'd be proposing, before building permits and stuff.
Can you tell, does he want to change the entrance?
It's on the side of the building that faces the parking lot. There's what looks like the addition. He wants to put an overhead door in there. And like a little portico on it. So he's got a proper architect that he's working with. So it's not Mr. Langley, it's a different one, but yeah. He didn't say he wanted to come in with a Cleary building and and then my last thing is mark the calendar for August 6th, which is the day we normally meet, but 07:30 hours in the morning. The DDA, that's when they meet and they want to do a work session. And I do not have much information. I'm sorry. The best I can tell you is I want to do a work session to talk about the future of Bergstrom Park. That's all I got. I don't know what that means. I don't know what they're thinking. That's all I got. And they wanted to make sure you guys were invited.
They want to talk about the SRT. Stupid round thing.
I honestly don't know.
But that's the nomenclature, but,
Yeah, no, once you said it, I got there. I heard of that before, but,
okay,
so,
okay, really.
but yeah, this is all I got is.
And they want to invite this group,
Yes,
7:30?
7:30 council chambers. Mark your calendars.
The 6th?
Yep. Mark your calendars.
Oh, it's what? August.
August 6th, 7:30 a.m.
Is Tony still chair until,
I missed that little part of the meeting this morning. It looks, well, and this month it looks like they changed that around, because they do that in July. So I think it's John Kamilke who's now the chair as of this morning.
oh, so it's okay, for some reason I was thinking it was a January thing, but it's not. No, okay.
Yeah, they're a weird cycle compared to everybody else.
Okay, so August 6th, 7:30. The topic is Bergstrom Park.
Yep.
That's AM.
Yes.
Yeah,
7:30 hours, yep.
And they
May-
want to
may I
invite
be
Parks and Rec
excused?
and all of
You
those
may.
stuff
Yes.
too.
Is that okay with the?
yes, I think, anything else?
That's all I had.
Well, I don't want to interrupt.
You know, I know you need
Okay.
to scoot, so no,
Yeah.
that's, when we're late, you're.
It's okay.
I think we're good. I
Yeah.
think we're
I just
actually,
want to hold this head out and.
sure. Okay,
Yeah.
very good,
Thanks.
Eric.
As
Thank
long as
you.
I'm allowed.
Thanks, Eric.
See ya.
Thanks, Eric. See you later.
Thank you.
Okay, I
See you,
think. Unless anybody had anything else?
And it's our meeting too.
But, yeah, it's the same day. They're just, like I said, bright and early in the morning. I'll put it on the agenda, for the next time. So we can kind of do a recap here afterwards.
Yeah.
And I also, we can have spoken about the railroad building and the exhibits in there. Where is that at?
Well, that's a report from Kimberly.
And Karen,
That's
And
still
Karen.
on- It doesn't, it's still on hold. And
it's,
then the second, what's happening with the Junction House movement on that?
that's pretty quiet at the moment too. Coach was talking to me a little bit about that before the meeting. My suggestion was that he visit a little bit with Lori offline, and I'm gonna put that on the agenda for next time too.
Bring it back up.
Yeah, but let you guys visit a little bit more, just because I know that it's never nice to surprise the chair, so.
Not surprising.
It's not nice, but it's never precluded things from, but you know, the whole thing, so much of it, I think, is around Kimberly's time and trying to put together an overarching plan of how we utilize her time and what she's gonna go after and leverage possibly one bucket of money against another bucket of money when it comes to grants. And because it could be several things. It could be continuing with the depot building and the scope of work that we're still trying to put back together. Then you've got the Junction House and the thought process there, because there will be a need for asbestos abatement from what I remember down there at the Junction House.
Probably.
But Dave says the original structure is fine, the log and all
I
that.
don't know if I used the word fine, but
But I mean, you know, the joining of it to the log
Yeah.
was
but the original part is the best part of it.
the best part.
Yeah, it has
You
some
didn't say
structural
fine.
integrity to it.
No, but all the outbuildings, all the additional.
That's the bad stuff,
So-
which is,
So the good
What's
news about it
going?
is some of this may evolve from where we are at the moment too. So, but we'll put some other topics on the next agenda, but meanwhile, you guys can visit a little bit and, we'll see what happens with DDA next month, you know, and
Yeah,
Okay.
there's, you know,
so
obviously,
nothing stagnant.
DDA is probably looking at Bergstrom Park and finally thinking about some things.
I honestly just don't know.
And there's been so much discussion amongst other groups about maybe what to do and improve down over there. So I don't know, maybe we're in a position to do something. I don't know. Thank you, guys.
Hey, don't we- So you're gonna be gone for a week? When are you back?
Thank you, Amy.
Oh, actually, hang on, let me fill the.
Yeah.
Nice.
Joe, what do you want to
Hang
tell
on.
I'm available all the time.
Are you available
Yeah.
all the time? Okay, well, we've got each other's emails. You want